Here it is 6:30 a.m. my time. That's 8:30 EST, and we are going to jump right into the charts here. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Here we go. Okay, so Bitcoin holding up. We did a little bit of a look yesterday morning. Saw Bitcoin climbing up real slow, and then of course it rejected out of this little channel that I drew. So let's go ahead and bring that onto a lower time frame so we could see what I was looking at. So Bitcoin, of course, being real bullish lately, mobbed up from a consolidation in the 48 to 50,000 range, right? So it kind of popped out of a much longer consolidation that was going on for quite a while, back in, say, December to January, and then made a couple of stops on the way up, but really just pretty much made it, I don't want to say straight to, but it really didn't take many pullbacks on the way up to like 52,800. That's where it sort of tapped. And now what's going on is that it is holding on. Now, I thought perhaps this vertical accumulation was a sign the price would head up, but if it broke down out of that, I thought it might be a sign that it's going to head down, and it very well could. So the way that these accumulations work, if they end up being accumulations, which if it goes up, it is, and if it doesn't go up, then it ends up being a distribution, right? So we're using a little bit of terminology here. So this is supposed to be a beginner class. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what an accumulation and a distribution actually are. Okay, so imagine you are a very large trader. Imagine you're the biggest trader on earth. In reality, what you have are several large traders, and they all act in concert, whether they mean to or not. And they probably don't. Everybody's just trying to make money. I don't think there's a smoke-filled room full of 5 whales, and we're going to crash it now. I think it's more about powerful people who have a lot of big data, and so they're able to make some pretty large moves, things like that. We got Lisa and Mavbed in the house. Thank you for showing up, ladies. So in this case, what I think is going on, though, is that the large money does have an idea as to, it's probably not going to go up any further. Retail is worn out, and so they go ahead and they get ready to get short and crash the price. Or there is room to go up, and they go ahead and hold the price up, and price goes up. Or the entire market acts as one, and it just happens to be organic, and this is just what price does, right? So it's all about, is it controlled? Is it not controlled? Lots of questions in there. I think there are times when it is controlled. I think maybe most of the time it's not. Or at least it's not in the way we think it is. So in this case, this sideways accumulation, and accumulation is when the market as a whole is actually, like the smart money, if you will, is actually gathering. So an accumulation, like a really good example of an accumulation would be this, all of this price action right here that happened between December and January. It's hard to see all on the screen here, but in that box that I drew, price just kind of went back and forth for like 2 months. And during those 2 months, this price just kind of bounced back and forth. After that, price headed up. So because price headed up afterwards, that means that large players and pretty much everybody were accumulating, they were buying. And the bulls who ended up making the decision, the bulls who took over, the bulls who pushed price up at the end of this, well, the bulls were in charge. That's why price went up. And because price went up, that defined this large consolidation, this large gathering, this large back and forth as an accumulation. Had price gone down afterwards, right? Had price gone down, that would have meant effectively that the bears were in charge. And that would have effectively meant that all of this bouncing back and forth meant that the bears were selling their Bitcoin to other people. The smart money, the big money, the larger participants as a whole, as an aggregate, were getting rid of their Bitcoin and then dumping it on just less sophisticated traders. You can call it that, right? But it went up. So that means that the smart money was gathering. And now we have to ask ourselves, first of all, there's a little accumulation here, a little accumulation there. It keeps accumulating on the way up, right? And we have to ask ourselves, is this current back and forth right here that is building a range, it's building a little miniature range right there, is that going to be an accumulation or distribution? That's a really good question. Now, we do know that 53,000 is kind of a key number. Actually, really, it's where price is right now, 52,000, right about there. It's an old resistance from like 2022. We'll take a look at that here in a minute. But usually with Bitcoin, when you see this pattern, especially in a higher time frame, when you see this pattern where price is making higher highs higher lows on the way up like this, that usually means price is going to break out. But if price breaks down out of that, a lot of times it means price will then find its way down. Okay, now it doesn't mean that's going to happen. Nothing happens every time. Nothing is hard and fast in trading, right? Things can just really change very quickly. And on top of that, this is a low time frame thing. This is only over a couple of days, this price action. It's not like it's like over months. So whatever was going to happen here based on this low time frame could easily get broken by a large block of traders, right? Maybe it was going to go up. Maybe this was some kind of pattern where a lot of people wanted to continue to buy, but then large players came in and sold and broke that. So this is why you can't always rely on anything all of the time, because the market changes very quickly. In this case, price is currently making a bit of a range. It's messy. It's a bit messy, but we could sort of draw a price range around this. And if I were to do it, it would look like this right now. This is technically definable. It's back and forth more or less in this area, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this and delete that and delete this and delete that and clean up the chart. And now we have Bitcoin just kind of gathering below a resistance, really at a resistance. And that actually could be bullish. What's going on here is that imagine somebody is climbing a mountain, right? And they're just climbing, and they're getting towards the top. And as they do, they're starting to get a little bit tired, right? And they're getting tired and they're just kind of really starting to get very tired. And then, let me see here. I think the gorilla might be here. But the question is, do they have that last bit of push, right? Do they have that last bit of push to make it to the top? And this
I'm pushing.
You're pushing.
I'm pushing.
V, do you have that push, bro?
I always have that push, man. Because I am G for P.
Yeah. G for P. Bro, you slimmed out, man. You really slimmed out since I seen you.
I told you. It's the broth diet.
Broth diet's more like coffee enemas is what it is.
Hey, man, don't give away all my secrets, bro. I don't want people, taking this and running, It's I take a coffee enema, but I also put Ozempic as well.
I mean, shoot, you're looking like almost like a physique trader. Like when I'm trader, good lord, a physique lifter. That's what that style. So your wife's probably pretty happy with it.
Well, I try to be as gay looking as possible. That's
physique. Are you saying physique bodybuilders are gay?
It's possible.
Well, that's where G for P comes from.
I'm not I'm not one to kiss and tell.
I was a physique. I was a male physique. So just gonna.
When I was younger, I was accused of being an exotic dancer.
I was too. I literally was.
Yeah.
I'm not joking, bro. In my dating days,
dating days? What the heck is dating?
Dating.
Oh, dating. I said dating.
Before I got married. So here's the thing about it. Like, first of all, I was a male physique, so you know what that looks like, right? It's basically
a male physique. It's opposite of a female physique.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, so male physique bodybuilders, basically what they do is, and we're gonna get back to
they're aesthetic. They're more.
We're gonna have some fun here, but we're gonna get back to the charts very quickly. So male physique bodybuilders are built such that they don't build their legs as much. So you have to work your legs out, but you're more building your shoulders out so that you have that V cut, right? It's an aesthetic look. It's not quite as functional. It's not powerlifting. It's more for the look, and you're not getting like these big, massive bodybuilder types like Arnold types. You're not doing that. You're staying below a certain level, so you don't have to do as many drugs and all that kind of stuff. So I was at that point, and also I'm a dancer. Like back in the day, I wasn't paid to dance, but I would go dance at the club like 2-3 times a week easily, do hip hop dance and all this stuff. So knowing how to dance, I had one particular girl. She's like, were you ever like like one of those exotic dancers? I'm like, would you judge me if I was? I'm like, acted all serious. And she goes, oh my God. I said, just kidding. I'm just fucking with you. I never was. And she goes, oh. And she goes, I was horrified. Oh, she goes, I was excited and horrified at the same time.
That's hilarious.
It was pretty funny. Anyway, yeah. So good. All right. Well, we're looking at Bitcoin, and I'm like wondering, dude. Look, and we'll talk about it in the
Where's
private.
Bitcoin at right now?
It's hanging out. If you look at the screen, you see it. It's hanging out right
52.
at 52,250. And I thought it was going to break down. And we went over it. Just I don't want to rehash it too much, but it was kind of creating a bullish pattern, and then it broke down out of that bullish pattern on a low time frame, and now it's just gathering below resistance. And just so everybody understands, when anything gathers below a resistance like that and it just hangs out there, there's actually a decent chance it's going to pop up, because it's kind of like I started talking about this climbing the mountain business, like climbing the mountain, getting up there, getting to the top, and you're just really, really, really tired, but you're still going to push. You're either going to fall to your death, but if you get up in the top of that mountain, then you're on fire. And that's kind of what this is going to, that's how it works with anything you trade. I'll see, like, here's an example of it right here. This was a clear 48,000 is an important resistance, right? And you can see price created this little miniature range where it popped up, made a range, and then it actually created this range that I just drew right there, and then it popped up hard. So when price is consolidating below a resistance, if it can break upwards, it will break hard. And right now, the algos are all bullish. I would just say right now, if I had to say, like some say, gun to your head, what's going to happen? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? I'm going to say it's going to go up, and it's going to test 53,000. That's what I say. Because the algos are just all bullish. And the algos, like, really they have not been wrong. My personal algo that I've built has just not been wrong. It's got too good of a record for me to go against it. So, Gorilla, do you want to talk about your opinion on this now, or do you want to talk about your opinion in the private?
In the private, man. I don't want to give all the juicy details.
You want to talk to your privates? All right. So,
dude, you have to talk to your privates every single day.
Right? Well, I'm a general, and so I've got several PFCs. Just like waiting to be told what to do. Right.
Got it. You have some sort of birth defect, and you have multiple Johnsons, is what you're saying.
John made I didn't make money.
This is a very, very
this is a weird show.
Morning. It's a weird show, man.
Strippers and multiple underlings.
Multiple underlings. That's going to be the next thing for the rainbow community. How many underlings you have?
Oh, good Lord.
God.
I don't even want to go there. So actually, let me refine this range. I think this, well, I think that's okay right there. So it's just a little miniature range. So, essentially, if I were to be trading a low time frame on this, what I would do is, just because the algos are so bullish, I would look to the long every time it kind of approaches, say, 51,700. If I was day trading this, looking to get into a trade that I got out of a few hours later, right, I would look for a trade like this. And I mean, this is like, kind of giving it out for free right now.
Yeah.
Just a little freebie to the public. So if price does reject, make its way down to anywhere around 51,700, I would use my algos to determine that price is ready to turn around. So I wouldn't just buy it right here. I wouldn't just go long willy-nilly. I would have an algorithmic reason to go long. And we teach over at algofactory.tech how to create those algorithms. They're very simple to create. It does not take a degree. Anybody can do it. I've taught people of all education levels how to do this, right? And basically, you can just, when your algo says go long, there will be a trade, probably right here. Now, the other things that might happen that may ruin that, one, price could reject, right? So price, if it does a bounce right there, price could go down, right? And we'll talk about what that looks like in a minute. Or the other thing is, price could go up and everybody gets rich anyway, right? So, those are some other options you have. And if price does go up, look, people don't understand 53,000 is an important number. And we don't really talk about on the live show exactly how to treat 53,000. But what I would say is, if price does break above here, what I probably would do is take maybe a possible short-term long, like right here. Possibly, maybe. It just depends on what the structure looks like. If the numbers line up, if the algos line up. Even without algos, just with a price action standpoint, I need to make sure I can have a proper stop loss and stuff like that. But it would be a decent possible trade to head up like that. So just, no matter what the scenario is, there's some really good trades. And frankly, I wouldn't do this because my algos don't like this, but one can always short in the range. And it is a perfectly reasonable thing to do right now. So trade you could enter. Now, I'm not doing it. Like I said, unless Bitcoin algos are extremely short, I don't short Bitcoin. The algos on Bitcoin got to be extremely short for me to short Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is known for popping up and punishing the shorts. But I just gave you 1, 2, 3 really good trades right here for free on Algo Factory live on all X and YouTube and soon to be Rumble. Rumble's having issues right now, but there it is. We're doing it for free, motherfuckers. So let's see. Gorilla, sir. What do we got here? Yeah, okay. I'm reading the comments now. Chippendale, Chris Farley. Yeah, you could say that, Lisa.
Absolutely.
Except we're actually in shape. I'm not.
I'm not in shape. Round is just a shape, man.
Rowdy. Well, I don't know. That picture that you got there, I don't know if that's AI, but you look like you slimmed down, brother.
That's all the power of Adobe Lightroom, baby.
Is it really?
Yeah, man.
You know, you're still actually kind of like.
I'm 500 pounds, man.
Shut the fuck up.
You know,
yeah, because that picture looks like you slimmed down, bro. If for those who don't know, there's a picture that the Gorilla has on a private profile that's where we do some communication, and I'm like, this motherfucker, it looked like he's been in the gym and been cutting down on his cutting down his.
I've been injecting creatine
in your finger, right in the finger,
something like that.
All right, let's take a look at, what do you think, V? What should we look at next?
Solana,
of course.
Last I looked at it, she dipped a little bit.
Oh, that's good.
I think it was down to 113.
Yeah, okay.
There you go, 112. There you go.
Yeah, it's now 112. 112. Where the players 12. All right, so let's. It's bullish as hell. You know, on the high time frame, it's always bullish. But I would say that
bullish.
It is bullish. Oh my god. I would look. I'd look at a 382 pullback. So I think honestly that, you know, it's just Solana's, as long as the market is strong, Solana will FOMO. So I would look to buy, because you got all this like resistance right here. Not resistance, but you have all this liquidity, right? So you have price had gone up, and then you have this area where price on the way up had consolidated a bit. And so price is going to want to probably grab, and already has, to be honest. You can't see it because of this green river, basically, but there is a wick that is down to this area. So technically, it's pretty much already made it, but that tells me that it may need to, because the algos do call for price to kind of take a little bit of a break. It doesn't mean it's going to go down, but what might happen is a bit of consolidation anywhere in this area. It could be here. You know, it could be here, but I think price is going to take a little bit of a break, give the bulls a chance to buy a little bit more, but I do think it will continue up at some point. And again, my my targets that I have, like, you can see that I already have a line at 126, and this FIP extension agrees with that. So I think near term, I think 126 is a good number, and I think price will kind of chill out for a minute, maybe for a day, maybe 2, 3 or less, and then it will probably pop up and go to 126 after that. So, you know, again, just another freebie given out. I've given out some like longer, heavier targets in our private group, though. I mean, you know, on our private group, there's anybody asks for a crypto, I give targets out. I mean, I give out like the equivalent of, I don't know, 5 or 10 trades every single session, whether it's gold or crypto, whatever. So in the private group, what happens is people will say, hey, do you, you know, can you chart this? Can you chart that? Right. And I'll chart whatever it is. And as I chart it, I'll tell where I think it's going to go or not go. And I'd say 3 out of 4 times that's going to result in what could be a trade, and many times a very, you know, successful trade. So we're pretty much just like day by day giving out at least 1 or 2 trades just by virtue of doing charts and saying where things are probably going to go. So if you come over to the private group, you got to do your own research. We don't give out investment advice, but what we do is we talk about where we think price is going to go. And anytime you can predict where price is going to go to a statistical degree of probability, you can extract money from the market. And this is what we're here to do, is it not? All right, so Solana, let's take a look at Matic. Matic was in a big range last I looked, and this is a Ethereum level 2. So this is a scalability, crypto here. And God, I changed my VPN to a static VPN.
Yeah.
And it's, dude, bro, I need to get a different address. This one's slow, bro.
Which VPN are you using?
I'm using Nord.
Oh, understood.
And I've already paid for, I can't unpay for it. So but I mean, I've been using Nord for like years, like 3 years, 4 years. It's been great. But since I moved to a static VPN, evidently I chose a slow one. I wanted to choose one in my time zone, and that just may have been a mistake. So I'm going to have to talk to them today and try to get assigned a different dedicated VPN, because it helps out. Like when you have a VPN, if it's a dynamic VPN and your address keeps changing, the problem with that is that all these websites read you as VPN or as a potential hacker kind of thing. So you don't get into a lot of sites. You got to deal with a lot of captchas. If you get a dedicated VPN, then that's going to read as, okay, you're not a tool. Like you're not doing anything embarrassing. So you're willing to have the same IP all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're willing to have the same IP all the time, it means you're a regular person. That's how they see you. So I think this might be what Matic does. It just depends on how well the rest of the crypto market does. If Bitcoin is able to kind of pop up and start approaching 60K, then I think Matic will head up. But for the moment, I do think Matic is going to probably range, like kind of a mini range, like a little tiny range up here, and then probably break down. That's what I see Matic doing for now. If Matic does go ahead and pop up above here, then we'll have the same thing to the upside, something like this. So if I were to do the short play, if I had like I don't like the word confirmation, but if the algos say go short, I'd be willing to short Matic, and that's a very nice trade. That's my stop loss may not look exactly like this, but it's anywhere from like a 2-to-1 to like a 4-to-1. That's a beautiful trade, and I probably would take some profit halfway through. So what I would basically do with that is let me show you how I would do that. Come on, why am I not? Oh, it's stupid slow. See, dude, you change your system.
What country is IP address you put? Like
it's in the U.S. I said my time zone. Well, yeah, it's at my time zone in the U.S. I need a US VPN.
That's why I switched to Surfshark.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's where this mid zone right here, this kind of mid area in the range is probably where I would take half the profit, and then I would like move my stop and then let the trade run or whatever. But on the way up, if I were to go ahead and long this,
see, I'm talking to you super fast, and I got a great connection, and I'm using Surfshark VPN. Surfshark VPN for $2.99 a month,
bro.
Hey man, listen.
You got nothing to say to that. Yeah, hey man, listen. I'm listening, bro. I'm here.
Surfshark VPN, folks. I'm not being paid to endorse it. I've been using it for years.
Are you serious? You use that one?
I've been using it for years. So it's the only VPN I use. I did Nord. I canceled them for Surfshark because Nord was too slow for me.
You see, I haven't had a problem with Nord, man. You just got to find that.
Nord is gay. That's why.
No, well then, God, we got to use it. What are you talking about? You got to use that. If you use anything besides that, you're gonna get canceled.
No. You see, that community, they don't like things fast. They like it slow. So that's
no, don't go there. All right, so so this is the trade that I probably would take long on Matic, and this is supported because you got this high on Matic sitting at about $1.09.5. This prior spike up, and it's a 618 from this fib extension. So I probably would look to take profit actually a little. I'd front run that just a hair, maybe $1.08. So I'd play the breakout. Ideally get a pullback on that, ideally, but I have algos out because it tell me to go long or not. And if that's the case, then I would go ahead and take that $1.08. So that's how I would play Matic. And I think we probably have time for one more before we flip to private. So let me take a look at the private chat, see if anybody's in there talking. You hear me talking, hillbilly boy? I ain't through at you by a damn sight. Okay, we just added Gary to the group. Let's see, did we get Gary overnight? Let's see. Cool, we got Gary in the group before the private live lab. That's awesome. All right, cool. All right, well, let's take a look at, what do you say? We'll save Link for the private because I think Link is gonna blow up. But let's look at, what do you think? Ethereum. Let's do Ethereum. So if Bitcoin does kind of push above 53,000, I expect. Well, it's already there. My targets got hit. Look at that. Just another example of like targets I saw coming would be 2740 was the target. That it was kind of like too late to consider that target by the time I did this chart, but this 28,000 I did say that was like a good target to look at, and that was just a day or two ago, and lo and behold, here it is. So anybody who went ahead and did their own research and did a trade that looked like that, there you go, you won. Congratulations. Allow me to do this, and I'm gonna actually go to a high time frame, so give me a second to jack with the screens a little bit.
You want to jack
son? You jacking with me, son?
No, that sounds.
No, it's not. It's not. It's you watched the movie freaking No Country for Old Men?
Yes, I like that movie. It was quite nice.
It's a good movie. Well, remember when he goes across to Mexico to go in the hospital?
Yep.
After he got shot.
Yep.
But he was fighting against Javier Bardem. Well, when he's coming back across the border, he's wearing a hospital robe and he's all jacked up, and he's like trying to come across, and the border guy's like asking him a question.
Yeah, I remember.
And he's messing with he smarts off to the border guy, and the border guy's like, "You jacking with me, son?"
Yep.
But they're both military guys, so they figured it out. All right, so you got 3586 is resistance with Ethereum, right? So is it going to make it up there? I would take a look at it from a Fibonacci standpoint right now. I would take this long move up, and I would be looking at, look, 3050 is a good target, but the thing is that's just above 3000, which is a round number. So, 3000 is going to be tricky. But if you are confident in this trade, if you think everything's going to continue to go up, then my targets would be about 3035 and say 3435. Those are kind of like 3430. Those are the two targets I would have right now. And it did just break out above, say, 2700. So I think $3,000 Ethereum is pending. I think especially if Bitcoin remains strong, even if it doesn't pop above 53, but it stays up in that high 40s, low 50s range, if it just hangs there, I think Ethereum is going to mob up. So, Gorilla Sir, can you get us out of here?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, guys, thank you all for listening in. Don't sit there on the sidelines and leave free money lying around on the table, because that's what it is. You learn to do what we do, and I tell you that you'll be making some cash, you'll be making some profits, you're going to be making a positive impact on your bottom line, and you will no longer leave free money on the table. Join us, algofactory.tech. Scan the QR code. Click the link in the description box. Join us or die.
Join us or die.
Yep. With that being said, Cowboy, take us away.